We're on the march for Ally's army. We're going to the Argentine, and we'll really shake them up when we win the World Cup. Our Scotland are the greatest football team.
In the big land of Argentina, Peruvians and Brazilians, Spaniards and Swedes are ready for the World Cup. The message from 5 million Scots is simple: you're wasting your time.
You would die for them, like when Wallace went to Stirling Bridge, you know, and fought the English, and Bruce went to Bannockburn. Then that's the way you feel.
I think now that the squad of players I've got is frightening. It's as good as you could possibly get anywhere.
We've got a nucleus of a very good side. They all know what is expected of them.
And the English, well, they've not it yet. They're going to write to Jimmy Savile and see if he can fix it.
It's often been said that whenever you pour the blue jersey on, you feel 10 foot tall. And that, in fact, is exactly how it feels.
Any man that doesn't have that passion in him, then there's nothing. I mean, a man without passion is not a man at all.
Ally MacLeod! Ally MacLeod!
Scotland's belief is that when the Almighty handed out the prizes, he gave this country lochs and glens, whisky and football. To those swaggering and staggering on the Hampden Park terraces, it's not a game, it's a nation's secular religion. It's only a matter of time, and that time is now until the World Cup is won. James I, King of Scotland, tried to prohibit football. He said it kept apprentices away from work. It was the most clueless act of wisdom since Canute set foot on the foreshore.
But if this wee Martin came in and reported to his gaffer what he'd seen down here, if he'd been to a football match, I reckon he'd come to the conclusion there's 22 guys in the park, split into 2 sets of 11, and the object of the exercise is to try and hit the goalie with the ball. If you miss, everybody kisses you and you feel a right idiot.
So what happens if you go to Wembley is that you get guys who go truly not to watch a football match, but to see themselves. What they're really saying is, let me see me. I mean, eventually when it's Dennis Law or Jim Baxter, what they're really saying is, let me see me. And I think there is something, you know, slightly pathetic in the need for Scottish supporters to go to a game and put so much store by the game. I mean, I think it's a beautiful game, but as a way of life, it doesn't begin to happen.
All right, I agree with part of that way, I must admit, that it is an outlet. But if that outlet wasn't there for the supporters to support, whether it be Scotland or their own league team, what else is there for them to do in Scotland anyway?
Well, what there might be, Dennis, is to...
It's an outlet, isn't it?
Okay, it's an outlet, but I think outlets are always dangerous. It's like saying that, you know, if you have a neurosis and you find an outlet for it, let the outlet happen. No, I think if you deny the outlet, you might find what really makes a neurosis work. And, you know, for example, Scotland might become more politically aware if it were less football conscious.
Simple geography, basic economics won't stop the fans. They've been to Nuremberg without overcoats, Moscow without passports. Now, package dealing, peddling or paddling across the Amazon, they'll be there.
I think it's a chance of a lifetime, and the next World Cup's 4 years from now, and there's no guarantee that I'll be able to afford it then.
I've afforded it simply because I'm in business and I can take some money out of the business. The business will maybe flounder, but as long as the Scots do okay, you know.
62, 65.
One Glasgow butcher is even selling his shop. So why abandon the profit motive just to go to Argentina?
Well, I feel I've got the ability to start business again when I come back, and you're only young once. If I don't spend the money now, I might never get a chance to spend it.
How much is it costing you, roughly?
Well, roughly £2,000 to go there, but it'll be well worth it.
Are we going to win?
Yeah, you're going to win. I think Ally's going to come back triumphant.
I mean, it's all right saying, people say, oh, well, you know, it's too expensive for them to go out there, but, you know,
they get the Provi check out and, you know, £3,000 Provi check, you know, a pound down and it's something a week for life. They'll go. I mean, I read in the paper there's some bloke's going to get a submarine. I'll never get up the Brummel.
One intrepid hero sets out, and he's going to be saddle sore.
Thanks very much, pal. No danger, eh? No danger. We'll tag them. We'll be in the finals before you can say Jack Robinson. Eh? Hey, bother. Hey, bother. Here's to you. Yo! This is Jordan, Danny Mouse.
Where's he going? Well, I'm flying from London to New York, Ian, and from New York, go down south as far as I can. I hope to make the Mexican border hitchhiking all the way, pick up my visa for Guatemala, going down to Miami. From the Mexican border, I think it will be bus. It'll most have to be bus all the way to Mexico City, from Mexico City to Central America by overland bus as well. This is what I've been able to work out so far. I've got itinerary on it and some plans. But after Panama, it'll have to be a flight to Bogota, Colombia. And then again, I'll start the overland trip again, straight down the Pan American Highway.
And these World Cup jerseys here, there's a limited amount of them. And there'll only be about 4 or 5 very, very lucky people will manage to take these home. I don't know why you're laughing, because we are going to win the World Cup. And the price is not as...
Scotland's biggest growth industry recently hasn't been oil, it's been football. The kids' wardrobe without a Scotland jersey, the bathroom without World Cup soap, and the kitchen without a Scotland mug is not a home at all. The wheelers and the dealers haven't jumped on a bandwagon, they've been riding a roller coaster.
Is there anything else? The World Cup post for 50 pence. Now hold on, it's only one to a customer.
At the end of the day, I would think that the players' pool will probably benefit to the tune of about £250,000. I'd like to do a letter now to our friends in the pool. A pottery company are interested in producing a piggy bank in the shape of a football. And this would bear all the pool signatures.
Wrestling again.
The image is created and sustained by publicist, some would say self-publicist, manager Ally MacLeod. But it works, and why?
Very simply because it is good business. They have associated themselves with a very successful team, and they want to be sure that their product comes through. You associate good things, and therefore you have a very potent piece of sales projection.
This is a game you play for nothing. Money doesn't come into it. If a man's playing football for money, then he'll not play very well.
For example, after winning the home championships outright, we all felt as a squad it would have been nice to have a small memento, rather than have had the money and the appearance money for playing for the national team. We always felt to win the championship outright would be a nice little medallion, which we could keep and save it for a lifetime. The money just goes. It just doesn't mean anything at all to us.
To play for Scotland was always the greatest thing in the world for me. I feel that to pull the jersey over your head should be enough. But I think players nowadays, it's very hard and tough nowadays. I think they've got to look to the future too. As you notice, the likes of David Hay, who went in the game quick, Jim Holton, I mean, that World Cup squad I had in 1974, within a year it was all disintegrated.
In Scottish football law, jerseys are important. If you've played well, you've played for the jersey. If you're bad, you've sold the jersey. And at the World Cup, there are going to be an awful lot of jerseys.
16 sets of jerseys, and each set constitutes 22 jerseys, 22 pairs of hose, 22 pairs of shorts. So there's quite a considerable amount of kit involved. Plus, of course, the tracksuits, leisure suits, trading kit, and of course everything else that goes with it. They've asked particularly for an eyelet material because they don't know what the climate's going to be like, and they presume that it's going to be fairly warm, so they asked for a special eyelet material. And of course some of the jerseys will be short sleeves and some will be long sleeves.
I gave all my jerseys away. I gave them away initially to the family and very close friends, and after the Wembley match against England, I felt then that it was nice to give it away to a supporter. And this is in fact what I did. I came out the main gates at Wembley, and he probably may be looking in now, and he has my number 6 jersey. I just gave it to the first supporter I met.
Well, it means tremendous business, obviously, but it's not only the business that comes from it, it's the pride that the company have in supplying the kit. It's the pride all the girls throughout the company have. It's a tremendous boost for us all. Well, everybody likes to be associated with success, and they really are keen on the World Cup, and they will follow them right through to the final, which hopefully they will win.
Contrary to appearances, it's a man's game. The Scot knows football to his toenails. The vast tapestry of the game is discussed every night in every bar. The names of the most famous Scottish side of all, the Wembley Wizards of 1928, are handed down from father to son. Football small talk here is big talk. A man who knew a man who knew a man who once played for Scotland is a big man. When Scotland lose, strong men weep, and success is celebrated in song.
Let me hear everybody for Scotland! I'm very proud of this son I've got because it was given to me by a man who unfortunately isn't going to the Argentine, but must be one of the greatest to ever wear the number 2 shirt for Scotland. Ally MacLeod! They support the boys in blue, singing easy, easy. Yappa dabba doo, we are gonna follow you, singing easy, easy. Yappa dabba dee, easy with you all the way, singing easy.
For all my life, I've got this tendency and feeling, and I'm sure it's shared by Scots. I not only want to win, but I want to win in a certain way. I want to win with panache, with style. Maybe it was because of the sort of mystique of the Wembley Wizard. We want to do it with skill.
Before my time, Jim.
I know it was, before my time as well.
Wembley Wizard.
Artistry, skill, panache. And listen, I saw some games in which you were involved in which I think we could have beaten England by 4 or 5-1, but you were less concerned about beating England by 4 or 5-1 than beating England and then doing it with a certain style and a certain panache. And quite frankly, I tend to subscribe to this argument. It's not only that you win, but it's how you win that matters. You don't win by bludgeoning your way. You win by, and I hope what I'm saying is traditional for Scottish football. I want to see it winning the skill in midfield, overlapping backs, the striker running off the ball well, pulling the goalkeeper out the goal, slipping it in, and a beautiful goal, and we're all standing up. I don't want a brute up to 40 yards, deflected off somebody, we're all cheering. I want it to come constructively.
There are South Americans in Scotland, and they play football. They are treated with a generous, friendly contempt. Brazil, Scots concede, can play a bit. The others, in their words, are balloons. Those same South Americans give to professionals and punters some at World Cup advice. Go canny.
And I think that people have to be very careful because you get people as high-tempered as, say, Jordan or Johnston. They have to be very careful because these people are well trained to do that. I mean, they don't get excited about it. They just go and punch you and they go away laughing.
The players have a manager to help. But what happens to Ally's Tartan Army when it gets on the move?
And I think one of the main problems that the Scottish supporters might be facing is that probably what a normal behavior is in here, for instance, at Ibrox or at Parkhead or whatever, there would be considered as a starting possibility for a riot. And that I would advise them to be very careful because, in a sense, these troops and these policemen have been just trained to smash any people who have been a cause of a riot or who might be a possibility for causing a riot.
From Dumfries to Deeside, armed only with a beautiful arrogance and an off licence in their overcoat pockets, those same fans are not the world's best at taking advice.
I think the supporters are absolutely fantastic, but I don't know what it costs out there for the wine. And if they go out there and they go on the cheap wine, I think that could be the biggest danger. And also, there's a lot of players. You know, you've got like Bruce Rayk, who's a great player. He's got a little bit of a temperament. So is Gordon McQueen, Joe Jordan. Jordan's got more points than he's got goals at the moment for Man United. You know, you've got Ole Donachie is at Hartford. There's all question marks against them in terms of they blow up in English matches here. Now what will happen out there, because these people will do their homework and they'll watch even our league matches and they'll look at what does actually upset them. And it won't really be football in the end with the Argentines that you'll be judged on. It'll be how the players behave. You know, they'll be spitting in your face and pulling your hair and kicking in the tunnel even before you get on the pitch. And this is with the players with a temperament. You might have to play an inferior player with a good temperament.
When I played, you played before in your back, you were a right half. Now they've got different names for them, but they're only doing the same kind of jobs. I think that the Archie Gemmels and Louis McHarries and Asa Harfords, they've got the real spirit, you know, that's necessary. And people say, all right, they're hot-tempered and all that. They may get into trouble. Well, without that temper and that passion, then there would be nothing. So that, all right, you may get your name taken occasionally, you may get into trouble, but I don't think you're going to try and kill them. If you take the passion from them, you take away their ability.
See, people, nobody says you have the stresses and the strains and the pressures these guys are under. Everybody assumes they're going to win the World Cup, which is right, but... Tracy... I can't make up my mind if this is Billy Smart or Billy Butlin, right? If I was Kenny Dalglish, I'd known he was there, wouldn't I? Look.
See, I think the good thing in this World Cup, I think the Scottish players are wanting to go. No matter what happens, no matter whether we're to stay in the room all day and just go out to play, the Scottish players want to go. When you read the other teams, like Holland, they're making, oh, I don't want to go. No, it's the opposite here. I mean, there's about, my problem is there's about 40 or 50 players wanting to go to Argentina. In Holland, he's struggling to get 22 that's wanting to go.
Now we have a team which is somehow different.
Yeah.
It's not, in a funny way, it's not as good. It doesn't have the kind of exciting skills that it may have had before, but it has something different. It has the ability to do the job when it has to be done.
I love football. What I'll be looking for is the rest of the Scottish team train as hard as they can and let's speak to them win the World Cup. And the rest of the fans, just to myself, let's stay tuned for them.
Across there, if you could get fair play, Scotland would have a chance. But to go across there and expect fair play is an impossibility. You won't get it. The tricks are they elbow you, they pull your shirt.
Yeah, but I mean,
they spit in your face. Now, well, let somebody spit in your face. What would you do about it?
I would be a bit nasty.
You would get a bit nasty with it, and this is the thing that they do.
I'm not caring what they say about West Germany, Brazil, or Italy, or one of the teams. As far as I'm concerned, newly married, me and my wife, Scotland has got to win this World Cup.
They know that there'll be trouble over there, or could be trouble. But if you're going to win the World Cup, you've got to win it in South America or in West Germany.
So the debate rages on, but it's about tactics and strategy. Eventual triumph is inevitable, and it's just a few more drinks away.
Where I've always been a very positive type of person in my thinking, you know, I always say, I'll do it. Where now I've been becoming a wee bit more low profile, and I've been saying, you know, if we win it. And all the fans say, forget the if, Ally, it's when we win it. You know, the fans have now got all that. So it looks as if it's rubbed off in them.
We're on the mercurial army. We're going to the Argentine. And we'll really shake them up when we win the World Cup. Cause Scotland are the greatest football team. Let's hear you. Scotland are the greatest football team.
The ambition of every Scot is to pull the dark blue jersey over his head and dribble past the world. It's a dream shared in Glasgow's tenement flats and by a transatlantic commuter. Gravelled voice, Scotland's #1 supporter, flies in.
Most people would love to be a professional footballer because it is our national sport, and they would probably give their right arm to be in the same position as myself.
When the blue shirts run out in Argentina, our hearts will be beating like a drum. And your nerves are so shattered you can't take it. Automatically you reach out for the run. But there really isn't any cause for panic. Ally's army have it all under control. It's not merely speculation, it's not just imagination. To bring the World Cup home is Scotland's goal.
We're gonna bring that World Cup back from over We're gonna bring that World Cup back from over
We got Dalglish, Buchan and McCarty. We got Archie, Cameron, Johnson and McQueen. We got Victor Jordan waiting out the middle. And the best support this world has ever seen. We got Donaghy, Rioch and Dunmasson. We got Andy Gray and Asa Hart for two. And with this lead combination, it's a fair estimation that the World Cup will be ours the end of June.
We're gonna bring that World Cup back from over We're gonna bring that World Cup back from over
Oh, Brazil, this time I don't think so. Holland without Roger Federer. Germany, we believe the challenge. The Italians can still play the game. But there's really only one team in it. We'll be singing as we get on board the plane. We are bound for runs and as we don't care just what the bell is. Only wish we had Danny McGrain.
Danny, first of all, is a great guy and he's a great player, you know, typifies everything that's good in football. Yeah, it's a terrible blow for me and for Scotland, you know, because he's the first player you fill in. It's Danny McGrain and 10 others. I've said that, you know, he's a great player.
Scotland has always had its great players, Alan Morton, Hughie Gallagher, Alex James, Jim Baxter, Dennis Law. It's also possessed its own style of play. The impish inside forward who learned his trade knocking the ball off the walls of those tenement closes suggests not just skill, but an attitude to life. Cocky, quick to take offence, cheeky, conceited. A national statement, but it's never added up to achievement. But in 1974, Scotland were unbeaten in the World Cup.
I didn't expect to win the World Cup, but I expected that if I got into the last four, anything could happen.
That meant an honourable, if early, retreat for Willie Ormond. Scotland breathed a sigh of relief, because the script for its first World Cup in 1954 could best have been written by Harry Lauder.
You fill in the form. So I applied for to play in the World Cup. Probably at that time that's why England appeared a lot, because they had to apply and they had to play. We went with 13 players to Bal, and 2 of those 13 players were goalkeepers. So really we had no chance before we started, and it was all sort of new to us, you know. And even the manager, Andy Beattie at the time, resigned in the main road because Sir George Graham was the almighty then, and they didn't go on too well. And he wouldn't go to George's hotel, and George wouldn't go to our hotel. So they met in the main road, at high noon actually, and Andy beat to resign.
This time, the collective transfer fees of the Scottish squad would buy you a small distillery, even half a North Sea oil rig. But World Cup's a lesser test of proven ability, more a postgraduate examination of nerve.
The first game, it's so tense. It's only football players know it. Last World Cup, I'm going to be a team like Dennis Law, Billy Bremner. They were as nervous as myself. In the first 90 minutes of the World Cup, it could be the most nerve-wracking of the lot.
But at least Scotland go to Argentina unafraid, and with all the best philosophical, even metaphysical advice that the country can offer.
Hey, shush! Are you getting dodge of culture here that you might never hear again? As through this world you wander, among the merry throng, some things go quite right for you, and some things go quite wrong. Sometimes the sun refuses to shine, and the grass isn't really so green, and the clouds which sport a silver lining are very seldom seen. So, if life isn't quite what it could be, and it's getting you down a bit, don't come to me with your problems. I couldn't give a shit.
But the responsibilities are enormous in going to the World Cup. But I enjoy those sort of responsibilities, and I'm looking forward to it.
Personally, I think we're the best in the world, and I think that's why you come down to England and you see the teams that are doing quite well, and there's always a sprinkling of Scotsmen about them. And I think a lot of the English clubs are run. There is the manager's been a Scot, Shanks and people like that, he himself, who have done reasonably good jobs in England. And they've got this special quality that they think they are the best, and they believe they're the best, and I think that's why they do well.
I tell you one thing, I wish that I had, to start in the English League, the Scottish squad now, to start next season, you're playing English First Division. It'll be finished at Christmas.
There's a wee presentation here. It's a surprise for Ally that he knew about half an hour ago. Bring on the goodies! Now this is a cake, hold on a minute. Get me! This wee cake has been...
Hey, are you still there? Hello.
This has been presented to Ally. What he doesn't know, it's going to burst open. Willie Orman's going to jump out and stick a heat in it. Thank you very much.
Scotland, some say, has delusions of grandeur. Unkinder critics looking at the record books believe it has delusions of adequacy. In the last 4 years, Scotland have beaten only the weak on foreign soil. Zaire in the last World Cup, their only World Cup victory. Denmark, Norway and Chile. But their right to be in Argentina is indisputable. They knocked out European champions Czechoslovakia along the way, and they've lost the old wretched habit of beating the best, then falling on their faces against the worst. They're more of a team than they ever were. The acclaim is based on a solid assessment of sound results. After a night out, back to work. Tactics, Scots used to believe, were the last resort of teams who couldn't play. Now the jargon of 4-3-3 pervades the air. Team meetings are given the seriousness of university seminars, and like a desert general, MacLeod deploys his troops.
Build up from the back came last night. The ball was thrown more, which we suggested to Alan and after an on-Ireland game that should happen. I think the two full-backs used it well. Midfield were there. Back four got up a lot sharper. But there's still that 10 minutes of indecision, I feel, throughout the game, which I think happens to all teams. But I think the casualness, I think there's times we forget when to go to the halfway line. I've had words with Willie individually. I think his timing, his crossing is, to say the least, bloody awful. He says it was his usual, But, how do you feel yourself on the field? You must be happier in your own minds. That's the first thing. If you don't enjoy football, you can chuck it.
We're the Scottish supporters, we're faithful to our team. We'll follow them to Wembley, Liverpool or Argentine. We'll follow them forever, we'll travel far and wide. Now let us introduce you to the famous Scottish side. Keeper's world class. He has the safest pair of hands and shots to seldom pass. He's broke the hearts of many men with saves that was supreme. A truly magic goalie and a credit to the team. Next in line is Ally MacLeod, let me tell you now. This lad is something special and he will show you how. At fullback he is partnered by Willie Donaghy. The men the wingers fear number 2 and number 3. We're the Scottish supporters, we're faithful to our team. We'll follow them to Wembley, Liverpool or Argentine. We'll follow them forever, we'll travel far and wide. We're the Scottish supporters, faithful to our side. Got a McQueen and Sam Forsyth, the men at the back. It doesn't matter who we play or how they will attack. We've got central defenders worth £1 million. McQueen will get them in the air and pick them on the ground. In midfield we've got Asa, Bruce and we've got Don. Each time they wear the Scottish blue they really turn it on. And when we go to Argentina the world is going to see a skipper lead the Scottish mates stand to victory. We're the Scottish supporters, we're faithful to our team. We'll follow them to Wembley, Liverpool or Argentine. We'll follow them forever, we'll travel far and wide. We're the Scottish supporters, faithful to our side.
It's Buchan now. Martin Buchan of Manchester United picking the ball up in the centre of the park. He's moving down the right with Dalglish and Joe Jordan up in support. Buchan passes, Dalglish got the goal!
In attack there is Kenny, Wally and Big Joe. The lion-hearted Scotsmen, they really have a go. They play the game in England, the Scotland's in their souls. They'll raise the Scottish standards as they score the winning goals. Now that's a Scottish line-up, what is there left to say? With these flying Scotsmen, there's no team we can play. We can match on any country, we're confident and proud. We've got the world's best leader, we've got Ally MacLeod. We're the Scottish supporters, we're faithful to our team. And there goes the final whistle to Wembley, Liverpool or Argentine. We'll follow them forever, we'll travel far and wide. We're the Scottish supporters, faithful to our team.
Tomorrow's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get that one out of the way.
Win that, win home internationals again. 3 years running.
And then we can get off and have a few days break before we get off again.
We're glad to get him, but...
Ah, you've been saying that all week. You've been trying to get away from me. Has it not been a good enough room partner for you?
No, it's not that.
I've run your bath, I've done your tea, got your breakfast, your barley rusks, I've got everything for you now.
At last, to bed, to sleep, to dream. The next day dawns clear. The opponents are England, who haven't qualified for a World Cup since 1962, but who are Scotland's historical enemy. The teams meet at Hampden Park, once the world's finest and biggest ground, a football temple. Now it's a grey old lady of a place with the faded gentility of a dowager duchess living on a fixed income. Foregoing breakfast, the well-dressed Scottish fan arrives even before the players are awake and moving. And Scotland hope to encircle England as surely as General Custer was surrounded on a long day at Big Horn. For in the mythology of the game, England matters, even in World Cup year.
Why are you taking us away? I skittle.
There, the Welsh Cup.
I live in England. I'm going to get my gear on for Manchester Pro.
Fantastic.
You don't want to be away as well, huh?
If butterflies besiege those who must battle, the fans are full of giant expectancy. A much regretted lack of funds has sabotaged the genuine ambition of thousands who really did believe they'd make it to Argentina. This is their last chance to give a World Cup cheer by proxy. The squad has been chosen, dissected, analysed and criticised. It is the elect of the country, canonised in terracing hymns. They'll walk a million miles for one of their goals. They'll support them evermore. They know that whatever will be, will be. With huge affection, they greet the fellow sportsmen who have come up from England. There was a recent story from Argentina that police had opened fire on a ticket queue. Here it was greeted calmly. Tickets are a luxury. Fans have done more tunnelling than in Stalag Luft 13. The pipes and drums of the Highland Light Infantry, the Black Watch, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, the Cameronians, Seaforth Highlanders and the Scots Guards mattered in the mud of Flanders, at Ypres, on the Somme, at Passchendaele, Verdun and Mons. Their tunes made no man's land someone's land. The sound will hit Argentina now. Its sad semi-quavers a reminder of a home left behind, its growing crescendo a nostalgic, defiant call to arms. A special affection is now reserved for the England captain. England won the 1966 World Cup, though every Scot is still puzzled about the way one of football's laws was bent on that occasion, that a ball actually has to cross the line before a goal is scored. At this particular lull in the proceedings, a little World Cup history would not come amiss. It was first played in Uruguay in 1930. and the opponents of that tiny country in the final was the same Argentina which hosts this season's competition. On the day of the final in Montevideo, the referee was under police guard, so too was the Argentinian team. Soldiers with fixed bayonets jollied along the arriving crowd, and there was a terrible stramash about the type of ball which was to be used in the final. Uruguay, who weren't expected to win, did so with goals from Dorado, Chea, Iriarte and Castro, no relation. They proclaimed the next day a public holiday in Uruguay, while on the other side of the River Plate, an infuriated crowd of Argentinians stoned the Uruguayan consulate in Buenos Aires. Police dispersed the mob by opening fire. All that, of course, can be discovered in one of the 1,001 books already written on the greatest competition in the world. I just thought it would pass the time of day. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, the Argentinian World Cup is an absolutely smashing competition to be playing in. With another, according to the Scots, moral victory over the English achieved, that communion between those who would stand on the terraces if they weren't kicking the ball, and those who would be off the terraces and on the field if they could, establishes itself. This is Scotland, united. To the boy who goes to bed and in the limbo before sleep scores 6 World Cup goals, it's an easy game, the glory game. To the professionals it's harder, crueler. Injury makes the journey from cup finals to obscurity impossibly short. At 30 you're finished, at 40 forgotten. It needs resilience, a hard heart. Peru, Iran and Holland await. Scotland must be ready in time. The win that mattered so much must become the defeat that didn't count. That's what you say to yourself, until you get to the World Cup, at least.
Don't know what would have happened if we'd have won the game. Yeah. They're still out there singing away, chanting. You think we'd have won the game? What, you think we'd have won the World Cup?
Marvellous, fantastic. I mean, we've been beaten 1-0 and yet they won't move. They just won't move, will they? Absolutely fabulous. You know, we're disappointed, obviously, because I mean, we wanted to go through this and retain it. But, you know, they were fantastic.
Nobody likes getting beat with England next door there, and I'm sure they would swap places with us. And we've got the opportunity to do something over in Argentina, and I'm sure if we do well, it'll make up for today's result.
Ally, see the day after your commercial, Mama, I bought a seed. I wanted the carpet. Don't worry, Ally. Oh, you made the really greatest team in the world.
You got up off the car,
They played the best, Ally.
Greatest fans, no, they don't have
Are you right here?
Oh, well, I promise you.
You won the World Cup for us, Ally. You're behind, son. Sorry, Ally. We won it. Ally, and then the World Cup take years on, Ally. We're the greatest team in the world, Ally.
Cheers, mate.
Best of luck, Argentina. Great manager.
But really, it wasn't the beginning of the end, it was just the end of the beginning.
The arrangements for the departure they are concerned, I know that all of you know the general arrangements. It's about time now that we're tying up some details. I've looked at the timing of things, and I think Ally would need to have your players in town at 3 o'clock that day. Arrangements are being made to uplift the baggage, the heavy baggage, and take it to the airport some hours before we depart. So if the players were in the usual hotel in town at 3 o'clock in the afternoon...
I think the Angles will travel possibly the night before, you know.
So they'll be in town anyway.
You know.
We will arrange transport to Hamden at 5:45.
In 1877-78, a Scottish team called Renton, who it was said derived their strength from drinking chicken brie, beat all Scottish sides, thanks largely to a formidable half-back line of Kelso, Kelly and McKechnie. They were challenged by England's best, West Bromwich Albion and Preston North End. When they were left defeated, Renton called themselves champions of the world. It was the first time that the desperate idea that maybe Scotland was the best had been implanted in the mind of a deprived nation ravaged by the Industrial Revolution. It was readily accepted, and the search for Scotland's own version of the Holy Grail was on. Successive disappointments, occasional moments of high farce, the odd time when the prize was briefly, tantalisingly within their reach, have only hardened that conviction, crazy and irrational as it may be. Scotland will win the Cup. Scotland has to win the World Cup. There's too much history and too much of it horrid lying about for even this reward, for even one lap of honour not to be wrapped in tarp. 3 or 4 countries may next month play in Argentina with genuine aspirations of taking home the Cup. The others will go secretly believing that the motto of the Olympic movement matters. It really is better to compete than to win. But Scotland goes just to win. It's daft, and it's sad, and it's very, very beautiful. Scotland, level-headed only because it's got a chip on both shoulders, is going to Argentina, on business, and to win.
To never let us slip away. Andrew Gold at number 2 this week from his album All This in Heaven Too. That's Never Let Us Slip Away. It's Radio Clyde on 261, and the time now is just gone 8 o'clock.
Richard Clark, Radio Clyde 261.
And any moment now, our World Cup squad will be getting set to board that plane that'll take them to the Argentine, and their first game, of course, against Peru is now looming large, and I'm sure that you, like me, would like to take this opportunity of wishing them all well. Now, I know they're listening to Radio Clyde at this moment, and so on behalf of the whole of Scotland, let me dedicate this record to Ally MacLeod, to the captain, Bruce Rioch, and to all the players as well. The very best of luck out there. And here they are, joining in song now with Rod Stewart on Que Sera, Sera. We're going to the Argentine.
you'll beat Scotland.